and welcome to The Dirty. I am your host, Eric Berry. Do me a favor, like, comment, subscribe to the show, and you might get a cookie. We'll talk about that coming up. I am here in Philadelphia, and I gotta be honest, I am loving it. So far, everyone has been super, super friendly. These lights keep going off and on, and I don't know. Anyway, it reminds me kind of a more blue-collar, cheaper version of Brooklyn. There's so many quirky dive bars that you walk by. My landlord here is actually a brewer. A huge, massive beer culture here. Everyone's super sociable, maybe a little bit rougher around the edges, but still welcoming, if that makes any sense. Loud, brash. But I love it. Much like New York, I have run across several rats, and I ran across some sort of creature the other day, which, as it turns out, I guess is an opossum. And I thought it was quite ugly and frightening and large. It was almost like a tiny pig. Whoa, buddy. My Instagram followers, however, which go ahead, follow me at Eric Berry Comedy, thought that it was super cute. And I didn't know if it was rabid. I thought these things aren't out during the day. You tell me, cute or not cute? I've been able to meet people pretty much anytime I've gone out, even just waiting at the bus stop, which is another amazing thing about here. The public transit, definitely robust. It's a walkable city. I was out the other night and met these two girls and went and sat over at their table.
Allow myself to introduce myself.
We're talking. The place was closing, and I said, do you want to come back to my place? And they said, sure. So we come back, and I was really getting the sense that they were flirting with me. This one girl kept telling me how much they loved me, and we're sitting on the couch, and at a certain point, I have my hand on her thigh, and I'm thinking this is going really well, and hey, there's two of them here. And so her friend goes to the bathroom, and I ask if she wants to come up to my room. And so we go up to my bedroom, and I go to kiss her, and she says, wait a minute, I thought you were gay. Story of my life.
So you're gay then?
I'm not gay, I'm straight.
Better.
Yeah. And she said she had a boyfriend. Story of my life. And as such, at that point, it was probably best that they leave. But I'm like, don't flatter yourself. I'm sorry. What gay guy is going to be out and say, hey, can I sit at this table with these two girls, be flirting with them, invite them back to his place after hours, be sitting on a couch, touching them, and then say, do you want to come to my bedroom? And it was only when guy goes in for a kiss that you get some notion that maybe he's interested in you.
You're absolutely mental.
So I wanted to do something a little different today. A video entitled, I Worked for Mr. Beast. He's a Fraud. Came across my algorithm on YouTube. And I gotta be honest, I'm not someone who watches Mr. Beast. I think I saw one video of his where he installed, what do you call it? Wells? Is that right? Wells in Africa, and then that made some news headlines. But he is the most subscribed to YouTuber, and I believe the wealthiest person strictly from YouTube in the world. He, last I checked, has 230 million followers. That's insane, right? That's larger than our 330 million followers. Or 320 million.
$100 billion.
I don't know. Who knows? These numbers might not be right either. That's kind of addressed in a lot of these videos that are coming out about him. But my point is, larger than most countries on Earth. And I guess his demographic is largely young teenage boys. And this person who used to work for Mr. Beast alleges that much of what you see in the video is fakery and fraud, and that Mr. Beast is perhaps actually running an illegal lottery that the FTC would be very interested in knowing about. I believe that this is the same thing that he's been doing for years. It's just no one's maybe put the pieces together or cared enough to connect those dots in terms of the legality of it or not. Or perhaps Mr. Beast is just so big that there's people who don't want him to fail. But really, this plays into a larger point that I wanted to get at, which is so much of what you see on the internet just isn't real.
Well, no shit.
Now, I'm not the first person to say that, obviously, no news there, but I don't know if we realize when things are purporting to be genuine and authentic, just how manipulated they are. Even this video here, right? Like, it's not straight through. I've missaid some things, and even missaid doesn't sound like that great of a word. I have been inarticulate at certain points while recording this, so I just said it over again, and I'll chop it up and edit it, right? That's the magic of editing. That's the magic of editing. Things aren't always what they appear. I am just concerned that we don't realize the extent of it. And I especially think that if your demographic is young people, people who never knew a world without social media, without having a device in their hand, who are just being fed this content nonstop, that it's going to mess with their brains in big ways. I know that social media has clearly affected the way that I interact with people in my life. It's definitely affected dating, where, apps are terrible. They were great when they were like a supplement to in real life meeting people. Now everyone's on them. They don't really want to be on them. And then you're just swiping and you get addicted to that. That's a whole other subject. But my point is that these kids are growing up in a world where that's all that they know. While I don't watch Mr. Beast videos, I have worked in marketing and advertising for most of my adult career. I remember a video that went viral, I don't even know, 15 years ago or something, of a Batgirl on a minor league baseball team going and making this incredible foul ball catch.
Top of the seventh inning, Fresno 2, Tacoma 1, Santos in a jam. Johnson, his first year at AAA, from the set he deals. That swung on and driven deep down the left field line toward the corner, and this ball is going to be... Oh, it's caught! It's not Jake Wald. That's the ball girl. Jake Wald in left field, can't believe it. And look, she shows him up. She just sort of tosses him the ball, saying, "Take that, Jake. I don't see you making the effort." Alfonso, the catcher, he can't believe it. Let's look at that replay. Oh, my. What an amazing play. And now look at her sitting there saying, "No big deal." Like nothing.
And everyone's like, "Oh, my God, this is amazing. I mean, look at this young girl. It's incredible." No one called into question for quite some time whether or not that was actually real. Because believe it or not, that was an advertisement. So what was it advertising? Well, if you look, when she sits down right at the end, there's a little product near her foot. Yeah, it's a bottle of Gatorade. Gatorade completely sponsored that entire commercial. Girl was hooked up to wires and they were CGI'd out and everything because it was a product placement ad. And it was meant to make our brains think that it is real and then associate the Gatorade bottle there with great athleticism. And, maybe we could make a catch like that if we just drank Gatorade. So marketing has evolved with the internet to, instead of just being strictly placed in these kind of advertising slots that we're used to, it's mixed in with this feed of social media where we're told that largely things are real that we're viewing. We're seeing each other as we are, even though that's not true. But when these are completely manufactured and manipulated messages or products that are being shoved in our face in ways that our brain is not as easily able to delineate as we used to. It used to be you go to watch the Super Bowl and there's the game, and then there's the commercials, and you knew you were watching a commercial. It'd be something completely different if all of a sudden Brock Purdy's under center, and then he gets a Subway sandwich hiked into his mouth, turns to camera, and winks with a thumbs up. Like, right? That would be very confusing to know, okay, am I watching a game or am I watching a commercial? But that's kind of, it's a silly example, but that's where we're at with technology that's, far more sophisticated and people that are far more smarter than anything that I just said. But I would love to see that commercial, by the way. Since that Gatorade spot that I referenced, things have only gotten so much worse as technology has advanced. And you have things like deep fakes and AI. My point is, nothing is as it seems, right? I don't have it on my phone to show you, but I was scrolling through Instagram and there was an app that was showing side-by-sides of maybe women who weren't in their most flattering light, and how it could automatically make, pull your skin back and give you more of a glow and make you look younger. And so that you can portray a version of yourself that's not real at all online. And it's just doing so much crazy stuff to our world. Kill Tony, which is an extremely popular podcast / live comedy show, purports itself to be totally random and not planned out. And I know for a fact from people who have flown to Austin to be on it because they were told they were going to be on it, that that's not the case, that there are elements of it that are curated and scripted. And Tony is a huge WWE fan, and he knows a story arc, and that's fine. It's an entertaining show. But when something, again, is selling itself as being something that it's not, completely real and authentic, that's where things get a bit problematic to me, right? None of it. The reason I have a hat on is because my hair looks like fucking shit right now, Like, I haven't styled it or anything, so maybe I'm going to give the illusion that I have a better head of hair under there than I do. But you could make some assumptions about that, right? I'm not telling you that you're going to win $500,000 or a Lamborghini if you subscribe, and that's that, and that a lot of these challenges have apparently been scripted or manipulated in some ways. It's reality television. That's fine. I think the issue with Mr. Beast is that some of these things could be potentially illegal in terms of how a lottery is defined in the U.S. or sweepstakes. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not an expert in that field, but that's what these videos are talking about. I just think it's really scary to see how even someone who has been kind of held up online and in the news as like a doer of good. And
New project is called Team C's. Please welcome Mark Rober and Mr. Beast.
It's all just like a PR front, And I guess I shouldn't be surprised, but it's crazy to think now that online influencers are essentially no different than a corporation. You know what I mean? It's like, who's standing for a corporation? A Facebook friend of mine posted the other day how proudly they were not eating at Chick-fil-A. And it's like, that's the change that you're going to make in the world. Like, that's fine. I don't probably agree with Chick-fil-A's politics. Guess what? I probably don't agree with KFC's politics or Popeye's politics or Taco Bell's or Wendy's or any corporation who obviously has a vested interest in factory farming and selling us as Americans crap that's going to contribute to our diabetes, obesity, heart attack, stroke. The idea that there are good corporations and bad corporations, I have to venture to say most corporations probably fall in one camp and not the other, and it's not the one we're hoping for. And like that fast food, that's what social media is. It's being fed to us like sugar, and we're addicted. Here I am making content, asking you guys to watch it and engage with it. And I would say that is probably my biggest addiction, social media. I used to be such a productive writer with my creative projects and writing a play in a week and novel and so forth. But it's so easy to get distracted now. We're just connected with everything. Phone or watch, my computer. I'm not sure what the answer is. If I'm being honest, I'm not terribly optimistic about many things in this country, in this world moving forward, but this is definitely a scary one. And I just hope that everybody comes to the table with some healthy, emphasis on healthy, skepticism about what you're seeing online, because many things are not always what they seem. Thank you guys for watching. Again, if you could subscribe, let me know your thoughts, comment. If you want to follow me, you can do that at Eric Berry Comedy. I'm hoping to be doing some shows here in Philly. I'm loving the comedy scene so far. It's everything feels like a really nice fit. So trying it out, TBD. Until next time, keep it dirty.